Hi, everyone. Welcome to class. We'll start in a couple of minutes. Right now, I'm just going to put up the disclaimer and then do a couple of things on my end. So if you're joining us today and you want to grab your props for class, I'll repeat this again in a couple of minutes, but we're going to use a pillow. So if you have a pillow, I'd go grab one of those, a hand towel, and a full-size towel. If you don't have these things, that's okay. Don't worry. You can do everything we're going to do today without those. It might just be a little bit of an adjustment. So as I said, I'll repeat that again in a couple of minutes when everyone is on. I'm just going to do a couple of things for you all. So first, I'm going to share my screen so that you all can read the disclaimer while this is happening. Let's see. Perfect. So you can see that disclaimer. And then the second thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave that up for a minute. There are a couple of things I'm figuring out on Zoom. Let's see. So sorry, 1 second. So as you guys can see, there's just the disclaimer up here. And then today, as I said, I'm going to bring you all back. We're going to use a couple of props. So if you're just joining us now, please grab a pillow if you have one, a hand towel, and a regular bath size towel. And then we'll start. Okay, great. Oh, you can't hear me well. Is everyone else having that problem as well? Not being able to hear me? Okay, you can hear me. It might work. If you can't hear me that well, I would try upping the volume on your end. Or if it says join audio, that just means that you can hear me, not that you can also be heard. I'm also going to put in the chat window the Spotify playlist for today, so feel free to use that. If that doesn't work for you, you can also just take this class without any music. So I'm going to start the Spotify playlist on my end as well, so we're all kind of in sync. So if you want to start, I'll start that now, and then I'm going to move back towards my mat. So thank you all so much for joining with me today. Again, my name is Ling Bisecker. I'm the Assistant Director for Fitness and Wellness at Boston College. So I'm just going to bring my 3 props with me, my bath towel, my hand towel, and my pillow. So we're going to start today in a pose called Sukhasana, or easy pose. You can start with crossing one shin in front of the other. And I'm just going to tilt my video down so you all can see me. You're just going to bring one shin, cross it in front of the other. Feet are going to be flexed underneath the knees. And I invite you today to rest your palms either face down on your thighs or palms face up. Take 3 or 4 deep breaths in through your nose. Maybe for today's class, you just exhale out through your mouth. Inhaling through your nose. And maybe you exhale through your mouth to start class today. And one more time, inhaling through your nose. And exhaling out through your mouth. Keeping your palms where they are, or if you'd like to join me, bring your left hand to your heart, right hand to your belly. Inhaling, opening up your heart and chest, and exhale. We might be joined here today by Ernie Cat. He likes to come join us over yoga. So if you have cats, pets, or other things in your way, just be mindful of the space around you today as you practice yoga. Keep yourself safe. So one of my yoga students posted and let me know earlier this week that they weren't able to go outside. But what they've been focusing on when you can't go outside is to go inside. So today's class is a sequence for your heart. We're going to open up the chest, open up the throat, breathing here. And then when you're ready, release those hands. I want you to do something that we're not going to do a lot of today, but I want you to take a really shallow breath, imagining you had a lot of anxiety. Inhale here. Exhale. How did that feel? For most of us, that's probably really up close and tight in the chest. I want us to drop that breath into our bellies. So inhale through your nose. See if your chest can expand, your belly can expand. And then exhale, soften. Find that really deep breathing today. And from here, we're going to start linking a little bit of breath with movement. So switch the direction of the shins. So opposite shin in front here as you cross. Feet still flexed underneath your knees. Inhale, open those arms up towards the sky. Maybe you gaze up at your palms. Exhale, drop one arm. So for me, it's my right arm. If you're mirroring, it might be your left arm. Towards the floor as you walk the fingers out towards the side. Just gently open up the side body here. Maybe you gaze up at that top elbow or wrist. If this strains your neck, feel free to gaze down at the floor. Inhale back up to center. Exhale, switch sides. So again, if you're with me, this time your left arm is coming down towards the floor. As you walk the arm out to the side, you start to open up the side body. You can gaze at that top elbow, top wrist, whatever it is for you. And again, if that causes strain, feel free to soften your gaze, soften your neck. Today's class is all about listening to your body, taking the practice you need. Don't worry about looking like me or how you expect this practice to look. Inhale, open up. One more time on each side. Exhale, drop. If you're with me, right arm reaches down towards the floor. Breathing here. Slowing down. Inhale, lift up. And exhale. If you're someone who, like me, has a brain that runs a million miles a minute, yoga can be one of the hardest things to do. It's really important to teach yourself to balance. Inhale, open up to center. Bring those arms out, big T. From here, take that right arm or left arm, whichever one finds its way underneath. Give yourself a big hug here. Shake out the shoulders. Drop your chin, drop your gaze. Give yourself a little hug here, squeeze. As we focus on the heart, there are two things we're focusing on. The idea of being able to be loved and to love. Inhale, open up those arms, opposite arm underneath. So for me, it's that left arm as I give myself a little squeeze. For so many of us, we're really good at showing other people how much we love them. But for today's class, I want you to focus on the fact that you are a lovable person. This class is about you. And release those arms. Good. From here, we're going to start to slowly step those feet forward. I'm going to face to the side just so you can see what my spine is doing. But again, you don't have to move. From here, your feet are going to be heavy, just gently out in front of you, knees bent. Hands are going to start behind your thighs here, and we're just going to invite some movement into the spine. So we inhale, we pull with those biceps and arms, open up the heart, open up the chest, flaring out those collarbones. You can lift the chin. Exhale, start at the belly button. Curl one vertebrae at a time, creating a nice curve in your spine. Inhale, open up the heart, open up the chest again. Modified version of cat-cow, but seated. Exhale, curl. If you're someone who sits a lot in a chair all day, this is something you can do at your desk. Inhale, open up the heart, open up the throat. Exhale as you round the spine. Let's take that one more time. Inhale, open up the heart, open up the chest. Exhale, round the spine. No rush in today's class. And then come back to center. If that's something that you find engaging and you'd like to keep doing, hands stay behind the thighs. Otherwise, we add on by bringing those arms forward, creating a little bit more core firing here. We roll down, arms reach forward, shoulders soften. Make that C shape with the spine. As you inhale, cactus or goalpost arms here, elbows out to the side, palms face to the front, open up the heart, open up the throat. Exhale, rounding that back. Inhale, lift up. If your breath is a little faster or slower than mine, feel free to listen to your practice. Exhale. Your body is your best teacher. As you inhale, lift up. Really arching that spine here, opening up the heart, opening up the throat. 2 more times like that. If you're with me, exhale. Toes are heavy here. Inhale, we lift up. Last time we exhale. To inhale, lift up. Now this time when we exhale, we round that spine, arms come forward, but if you'd like, we roll all the way down towards that floor. Grab onto that hand towel if you have one. If you have a strap, you can use that. Otherwise, you can just grab behind your thigh or calf here as you lower down. One vertebrae at a time. Shoulders and head are the last thing to touch. From here, left leg lengthens out long, thigh, calf, and heel are heavy. We bend that right knee in towards the chest. Hand can come by that shin here. Now this strap comes by the ball of your foot, so directly behind or underneath where those toes are. Hands are around that strap. Head, neck, and shoulders can stay heavy here as you start to lift the heel up towards the sky. Inhaling here. Exhale, soften the shoulders and back body. Don't worry if that knee stays bent here for a while. That's okay. We're just opening up the left hip here. So notice how the left hip feels, right hamstring. And then we can start to reach that heel a little bit more towards the sky, straightening out that right leg. This is very early in the practice, so don't feel like you have to overdo it. If your leg wants to stay bent, feel free to do that. You can always come back to hands around the shin too, thigh just pressing in towards the chest. Eventually that heel might straighten all the way towards the sky. Create that 90-degree angle here. Good. From here, you can move that strap off to the side. Hands can come by the thigh. As you start to roll up, if you'd like the added core challenge, shoulders and head off the floor. Right heel tilts in, toes out to the side. Left heel lifts, heel in, toes out to the side. Hold here for a second. Engage by pressing through the heels. And then arms might hover, palms face towards each other. And then lower everything to the ground. Hands come by that shin. Bring those legs back to neutral. Circle out that right ankle. Maybe take 5 circles in one direction. And then take 5 circles in the other direction. And then bring both knees in towards your chest. Hug the thighs in towards the body as you roll out that low back. And then circle in the other direction. Just take a moment noticing how the right and left side feel. Keep that left leg in, right leg long this time. Thigh, calf, heel heavy. You can take that hand towel or the strap, whatever you'd like. You can always stay here. Thigh in towards the chest, or bring this towel, whatever you have, around the ball of your foot. Start to reach that left leg towards the sky. Shoulders can stay heavy here. The knee can stay bent. Listen to your hamstrings. Listen to your right thigh. Can that right thigh become even heavier? Softening your shoulders here. Maybe we start to notice that left heel reaching up towards the sky a little bit more. If you did straighten the leg and it's causing any pain, you can always bend the knee. Notice what this practice does for you. Slowing down. There's a concept in yoga and in Ayurveda that like creates like and opposite creates balance. So if you're constantly on the go, you want to practice a flow that slows you down. Otherwise, you're just perpetuating that cycle of anxiety. So slow down today. If you're with me, release that strap or that towel off to the side. Hands can come behind the thigh. As you start to lift the head, neck, and shoulders off the ground, you can start to tilt left heel into the midline, toes out to the side. Maybe you even hover that right leg, heel in, toes out, fire up the core here. Press through the heels, and if you want to add on, arms reach out. Opening up here, breathe. Good. One more inhale here. Exhale, lower. Left leg comes in towards your chest. Circle out that left ankle. Maybe 5 circles in one direction, and maybe 5 circles in the other direction. And then bring both knees in towards your chest. Circle out the low back. And circle out the back in the other direction. Good. From here, if you want the core challenge, you're going to bring your hands down to the mid kind of area of your shin, a little lower by your ankles if you can. And you're going to rock up into a seated position using your core. If that doesn't quite happen for you, just find your way seated again. And then lower those feet towards the ground. We're going to take that bath towel, that larger towel here. You can open it up wide like this. You're going to fold it in a half, kind of hamburger style. And then you're going to roll so that it's like a little snake shape, creating your own kind of modified version of a bolster here. So it can look like this. From here, this is going underneath your kind of breast, like your thoracic cage here, so by your shoulder blades. So from here, as you lower down, sort of bra line area, you're going to open up your heart, open up your throat. So it should soften here by your shoulders. Arms are reaching out to the side, big T. If this is too much for you, feel free to drop and release this blanket out. You don't need it. If you have any lower back pain, it might feel nice to bring your feet about hip distance or mat distance apart. Just drop your knees in towards each other. Other options, soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Or if you can, legs straighten out, feet flex gently here, heels in the ground, toes face up, like you would when you're standing in a Tadasana-like position. Opening up your thoracic cage here, opening up your hips. For many of us, this requires a lot in the body because we don't stand straight. We sit a lot of our days, and just opening up the heart. If you're one of the many people who finds this actually pretty painful, but not to the point where it's causing any actual structural damage, it's just very uncomfortable, you are not alone. For many people, opening up this part of the chest, opening up the heart is really hard to do. So take it easy, come out of anything that you feel like is not serving you. This is a practice of going inward, right? When you can't go outside, you go inside. Remember our affirmations: to be loved and to love. In this position where we are extremely vulnerable as we open up our chest, our belly, notice whatever comes up for you. For many people, this is a time of uncertainty. Things don't feel really secure and safe. So check in with yourself. Check in with your heart here. Can you remind yourself with that affirmation that you are lovable? And then go a step further and remind yourself how much you love you. This was the first time today that you reminded yourself that you deserve your own love. Just cherish that. This was the 100th time you've told yourself that today. Congratulations. Awesome, positive self-talk. This is a practice. And so opening your heart here, opening up your chest. Now remember how we started today's class, and I asked you, and I won't ask you to do it here, but remember when I said, imagine breathing like you had a lot of anxiety. It's really shallow, right? In the upper chest and throat. So from here, I want you to imagine you're breathing all the way through your belly. And maybe you can actually do it. Inhale through your nose, through your chest, and through your belly. Exhaling it all out. I'll only have us hold here for a few more breaths. I invite you to notice if your shoulders, your upper back, everything was able to soften, even just a little bit. This feels so different, but if you think about it, we spend so much time in the exact opposite position, shoulders hunched. This thoracic spine that's lifted here is pushed back. So we're just counteracting what we do in our everyday lives. So from here, I want you to take your time to get out of this. There's nowhere you need to be. You're right here on your mat. So if you'd like, bend your right foot in. Then maybe bend your left foot in. If your feet were together, knees apart, just bring them in. Or if your knees were together, feet apart, just step them so they're about hip distance apart. Start to roll over so left hand can come towards the chest, midline of the body. Lift the hips and start to roll over to the right. You can use your right arm here as a pillow, and then start to slowly find yourself seated again, moving this blanket out from underneath you. Come back to center. And again, feet are out in front of you, about hips distance apart. Hands come behind the thighs again. Inhale, open up the heart, open up the throat. Notice how this feels. Exhale again, rounding the spine. Inhale, open up the heart, open up the throat, open up the chest. Exhale, round the spine again. Try to get as far back as you can. Make a C shape with the body. Inhale, open up the heart, open up the chest. Exhale, round back. Inhale, lift up. One more time like that. Exhale, round back. Inhale, open up the heart and chest. Now this time it's going to look a little bit different. You're going to round the spine, make as big of a C shape as you can, and you're going to try to keep your spine like this. We're going to engage the core here. So belly button comes in, and it's the arms that are moving. So I want you to imagine biceps engaging as you bring that C-shaped curve forward. Forehead might touch your knees. Again, that spine stays exactly where it is in that C-shaped curve as you straighten out your arms. Create core strength here. And bring it back to center. Elbows hugging you in. Biceps engaged, forehead might tap the knees. And then start to create that C shape back. Arms lengthening here. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, you reach back. We take that one more time, maintaining that C-shaped curve. And then reach it all the way back. From here, open up the heart. Open up the chest. Arms reach overhead. From here, if you want to cross your knees or cross your shins to come forward into tabletop, feel free to do so, or sweep those legs off to the side. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Knees underneath those hips. From here, we actually take a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, open up the heart, open up the chest. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, lift the low belly, drop the chin to the chest. Inhale, open up, cat stretch. Exhale, bring it back. Cow tilt. I apologize. Cow tilt as you inhale, open up. Exhale, cat stretch. Just focusing here, inhale, cow tilt, open up the heart, open up the chest. Exhale, that cat stretch. And then slowly find your way back to neutral. Make a handprint forward with those hands. Flip the toes, find your way into a plank position. And from here, we're just gonna bring those hips back, downward facing dog. So inhale here. Exhale, lift those hips. Sink those heels, downward facing dog. Feel free to walk out your feet here, bending one knee, then the other, just stretching the back body. We're gonna do a few exercises in a moment on our bellies, strengthening our spine. something that gets pretty loose and weak from sitting at a desk. So from here, when you're ready, we're going to find our way forward into that plank position again. If you're with me, I'm going to drop my knees. Otherwise, stay in that plank position and lower down for 3, 2, 1, and we lower all the way to the floor. Arms reach forward here. We're going to strengthen our back body, so modify as you need. Maybe you only lift your arms or only lift your head, or you can take everything. So first we lift just the arms off the ground, palms facing towards each other, strengthening here the trapezius, the back body. Then we lift the head off the ground, ears in line with the biceps. If you can, gaze softly forward. And then start to slowly lift the legs. Keep those feet hip distance apart or closer if you'd like. Inhale here. Little sip of air, lift a little higher. Exhale, lower to the ground. Strengthening the back body here, trying to avoid any strain. So when you find your way all the way to the floor, allow all the muscles to release. Allow them to melt away from the bones. We take that 2 more times. So lift with the arms, then maybe head lifts, bicep by the ear, soften the gaze, and then lift those legs. We hold here. Breathing here. Maybe you can inhale a little bit higher, and then exhale everything down towards the floor. Breathing here. It's really important not only to work, but to learn how to relax afterwards. So as you're here, how do your muscles start to soften? And then if you'd like one last set, arms lift. You can always take a break. Head lifts, bicep by the ears. Start to slowly lift those legs. Breathing here. Inhale, little sip of air up. Exhale, lower everything down towards the ground. Bring those hands by your shoulders and then walk them back a little bit. Elbows squeeze in towards each other. Start to lift the back of the head, neck, and shoulders. Find your way into a baby cobra here, Bhujangasana. As we start to lift the palms off the ground, hover here, elbows squeeze towards each other, strengthen the back body. Let's hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, plant those hands on the floor, press into those palms. As you start to lift your shoulders, start to lift the low ribs off the ground, and if you can, drag your hips towards your wrists, tops of your feet and your hands are on the ground. Opening up here, upward facing dog. Breathing here, inhale. Drop the knees, lift the low belly, flip the toes, downward facing dog. If you've been practicing for a while and you want to create that movement straight from upward facing down to downward facing dog, next time we do this, feel free to do so. But you're always welcome to join me. I'm going to lower my knees through every transition here. Just focusing here on my core and on my back body. Now, if you'd like, we press forward into plank again. Again, you can lower in one movement through plank, or knees can come down towards the ground. We lower for 3, 2, 1. We find our way all the way down towards the floor. This time we take a Sphinx pose, so elbows come a little bit in front of the shoulders. Forearms are parallel, palms face down on the ground. We press down through the tops of the feet and we open up the heart and throat. Now the magic in this pose is when we hold it a little bit longer. So can you start to soften your tailbone towards your heels? Notice what that feels like in the tops of the feet and the shins and the knees. If you're someone who's double jointed in the knees, it's okay here because they're not weight bearing if they come off the ground. Thighs are heavy. Hips are heavy as we open up the collarbones. And again, if you notice discomfort in heart openers, you're not alone. They ask us to be vulnerable. They ask us to counteract the safety response we create all day by curling in, Today, we're working on strengthening our back and opening our heart. If this is getting to be too much for you, you can always bring your palms a little closer together. It eases the shoulders. You can always move your elbows out further and bring your chest closer towards the ground to relieve your low back a little bit. If you want to add on, those elbows stay a little bit in front of the shoulders, palms face down, but the forearms, instead of being parallel, can open out slightly so the palms can reach out to the side ever so slightly, maybe a handprint. We push into those hands, the elbows come off the ground as we lift up the upper body. Shoulders still soften down the body, resting on the ribs. Now, if you're comfortable with it, we're going to open up our jaw here. Create some tension in that jaw as you hold it open. Create as much tension as you can for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, and then slowly soften. Lips come together, teeth stay apart. If the lips need to come apart, that's okay too. Just softening the jaw. We hold a lot of anxiety and tension there. And then slowly lower the elbows back down towards the ground. Everyone bring your hands together, elbows out wide. Forehead rests on that diamond shape of your hands. Bend those knees and windshield wiper out those feet. Breathing here. I really want to invite the belly pressing in towards the floor here. Just getting a little feedback as you inhale and as you exhale. From here, we're going to open up the hips a little bit more, opening up the heart and chest. If you're like me, this is one of my least favorite yoga poses, but that means we still have to do it. It's good for us. Find those elbows back in that Sphinx pose. Again, modifications if you'd like them. Palms can always come closer together. Elbows can always open up a little bit wider. We're going to start today. So we take that left hand, bring it back. Palm faces towards the midline. We bend that left knee. Hand can come around the ankle. Now, if it doesn't quite reach and you're still here, that's okay. That's where you are today. You're building strength in your upper body and your shoulder. If you can, grab onto your ankle, or if you'd like to take your towel, your hand towel, and wrap it around your ankle, you always can too. From here, if you have that grip, you're going to press your foot into your hand and lift your thigh off the ground. Opening up your chest. Opening up your hip here and breathing. Hold for a couple more breaths. And then slowly release. Hug that foot in towards the butt a little closer, and then release. Left hand comes down towards the floor. From here, right arm reaches back, palm faces towards the midline. And again, this time, right ankle can come in. Maybe they connect. If they don't, feel free to just hover and hold here, opening up the right side body. If they're connected and you'd like, you can push the foot into the hand and hold here, lifting maybe the thigh off the ground one day. Breathing here. Hold for 3 more breaths. And then slowly hug that right foot in towards the butt a little bit more, and then release. Take that Sphinx shape. Hands come together, elbows out wide. From here, lower the head towards the hands, bend the knees, and windshield wiper out those legs. Inhaling and exhaling here, good. You guys are doing awesome. And from here, release out those legs. Bring those hands underneath your shoulders again. Flip the toes if you'd like. If you're with me, I'm keeping my knees off the ground as I lift into that half push-up. If you'd like, lift all the way up into that plank. From here, I lift my hips and I sink those heels towards the earth, downward facing dog. Stretching out that back body, I wrap my armpits in towards each other. My head dangles, crown of the head reaching towards the hands. Now, bring both knees together at the same time towards the earth. Calves come together, inner thighs together as long as it's okay for you. We're going to press back into that child's pose, stretching out the low body here, the hips, that lumbar spine, that low back. Elbows can stay off the mat here if you can with me. Making this pose a little bit more active, we push through the palms, we soften the shoulders away from the ears. And just softening here for a couple more breaths. We spend a lot of time with our arms forward, and in today's version of a back bend, we have the arms forward. But here in child's pose, if you'd like, just stretch the arms and the shoulders in the other direction. Soften the arms, palms face up by the feet here. Allow the shoulders to roll down and release. As we do this, I invite you to imagine your belly pressing into your thighs a little bit more. And your thighs, like the floor here, give you feedback. You press back. Slow down here. This is the part where if you're practicing at home, your mental discipline comes in. As we slow down, it's really easy to be like, okay, I'm done. That was enough. And if it is, that's okay. But if you can, challenge yourself to be in this practice, in this moment. Challenge yourself to be here right now. And then when you're ready, hands come underneath the shoulders. We start to lift up. So if it's okay for you to sit hips over those heels, feel free to do so here with the shoulders over those hips. For some of us, that won't be super comfortable. It's a lot on the thighs. So you can bring that pillow and just sit down here. Give yourself something to sit on. You can also always just sit up here, shoulders over hips. From here, we're going to inhale those arms up towards the sky. We're going to bend the right elbow. Palm faces towards the back, in between the shoulders, maybe one day. Left hand comes to the outside of that right arm, that tricep region. And we press the right tricep into the left hand as we open up the heart and chest. While we do this, notice if your back body starts to flare out and start to knit those ribs towards each other. Getting a shoulder stretch here. Left hand can come behind your body, palm facing towards the back of the room or back of your mat. Interlace those fingers towards each other. If they don't quite reach, that's okay. You can always grab that towel and hold on to it here. Or just imagine one day those fingers reaching towards each other. And then slowly unwind those arms. Good. From here, bring both arms back up towards center. This time we bend the left elbow, palm faces down by the shoulder blades. Right hand comes around by the tricep of that left arm. We press left hand, arm into right hand here. Breathing here, we inhale and exhale. And if you'd like, you can release that right arm. Palm faces towards the back of the room, back of the mat. Wiggles its way in between the shoulder blades as well, imagining one day hands might reach together. You can use that towel, or you can just imagine one day the hands come together. Or if they do, interlacing and just creating a little bit of resistance there as you open up your heart and throat. Take it easy on your knees if you need to come out of this pose. And then unwind those arms, inhaling them out. Exhale, release. If you're sitting on a pillow, just moving that off to the side. We'll be using it in a little bit. You can sweep your legs towards the front of the room, finding your way into a staff pose, Dandasana here. Your heels are on the floor, calves are heavy, thighs are heavy here. You sit up straight. Inhale, those arms reach up, biceps by the ears if you can. If this asks a lot of back extension here, I invite you to just bring your arms forward. They don't have to come all the way up. You're inhaling here, palms facing towards each other. As you exhale, start to fold forward. Hands can come down by the calves, the thighs, the ankles, wherever they reach. If your low belly can touch your upper thighs, your ribs can touch your lower thighs, your chest can touch your knees, then you can start to lower down. Hands might come behind the feet, elbows out to the side. Breathing here, just folding forward, stretching your back body. Breathing here, good. And from here, slowly start to roll up. We're gonna just take 2 seated twists and then lower onto our backs. So from here, right foot is gonna bend in, knee is reaching up towards the sky. Left hand can come to the shin, right hand can come behind your back. And the focus here is not on how far you can twist, but inhale, lengthen the heart and chest, and then exhale, twist to the right. Breathing here with an inhale, and exhaling it all out. And then come back to center. We just switch sides. So right leg opens out long, left leg comes in, hands come behind the shin. Right hand in front of the shin, left hand behind the back. As you inhale, lengthen here, and then exhale, twist. Breathing here. And then come back to center. From here, straightening out both legs. If you would like, you can do a little core exercise with me. Otherwise, just meet me on your back. Arms are gonna be forward, and just like we started class today, we roll, we curve that spine. We create a C shape here, heels heavy, calves heavy, thighs heavy. As you start to roll down one vertebrae at a time, really curl that belly, and relax. Grab that pillow, bring that over your belly here, over your hips, lengthen out your lower back. Inhaling here, I want you to breathe belly into the pillow. Hands are gonna rest here on the sides of the pillow, inhaling. Exhale, hands press into the pillow. Lower and release. Inhale, belly into the pillow. Exhale, release. Take that 3 more times, inhaling at your own pace. Exhale, releasing out. If you're with me, 2 more breaths, inhaling here. Exhale, releasing out. And one last inhale. And exhale. Now move this pillow a little bit to the left. Hug the right knee in towards your chest. Cross that right knee over to the left, gaze over your right arm. You can use this pillow here underneath your knee and thigh to support you a little bit more, so your back body doesn't have to strain as hard. And then slowly we roll over to the other side. So bring the pillow over to the right. Left knee comes in towards your chest. And then left knee crosses over to the right. Left arm out to the side. You can gaze over your left arm. And then come back to center. Maybe you hug both knees in towards your chest. Circle out that low back. If you're someone who often experiences back pain in Shavasana, I invite you here to take those two modifications, feet hip distance apart or a little bit wider, maybe mat distance, knees tap in, or feet together, knees apart. Or final variation, legs open out long. You can bring that pillow back towards your belly, palms face up by your hips. As you just take these next few minutes to just breathe in Shavasana, I invite you here to close your eyes. Just inhale through your nose, through your hips, and through your belly. And as you're here in this Shavasana, I invite you to just repeat the affirmation that there is an infinite supply of love. I am worthy of love. And that your basic right is to love and be loved. When you're ready, start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe reach those arms overhead, legs in the opposite direction. If you have a pillow on your belly, it's fine. It will just drop to the side as you roll to the right. You can use a right arm underneath your head as a pillow, and then find your way seated. If you'd like, you can inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. As Oscar Wilde once said, to love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. So thank you all so much for practicing today with me from my heart to yours. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your day. Take care. Thanks, everyone. If you're interested, tomorrow, Trailblaze Thursday, and then we have a pyramid class, Power Pyramids on Friday. So you can find everything on our website. Have a good day, everyone.